Things are getting worse around here, aren't they? Too many things are changing. Yeah. Everybody just talks about how afraid they are of dying. Well, I don't think that's the worst thing that can happen to you here.
You can't save them all.
Welcome, everyone, back to Horror with Nadia. I am so glad to have you guys with us today. Today, we're continuing the journey of From. We're going to be talking about episode 8, Thresholds. But before we get into that, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification, and do me a favor as well. Please go subscribe to everybody. They'll be in the description below. Everybody is an amazing content creator on this panel, and I want everybody to enjoy their content as well. So we have a new face with us today. We're going to kind of keep this as short as possible today due to the Tyson fight that I'm sure everybody knows is going on because we all want to go see it. So without that further ado, I'm going to bring everybody on stage and figure out how to use StreamYard. Hello, gentlemen. Welcome.
How's it going?
Hello. Hello.
I'm excited to talk about this, but also get it over with.
I hear
on
you.
the same. Before we get into it, Atreus, you are our new face on the panel. Some people are running late, so people will be hopping in. But what's your opinion of the series overall? Like, how did you start watching it? Is this kind of a genre you enjoy usually?
So yeah, I mean, how are you guys doing? My name is Atreus. I don't know how, I don't remember how I discovered it. I just know I just started watching it, and anything horror. I was probably just searching for anything horror. Like anything horror, I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna give it a chance. And what I think of the series so far, I mean, at least the first 2.25 of the first 2 seasons and a quarter of the third, I felt like was really strong. And like now I'm starting to get, I ain't gonna lie, I'm starting to get agitated because I don't feel like we're anywhere near close to any sort of answers. And the thing is, I think, if they're thinking the way that I think they're thinking, I think they believe answers to the show is the conclusion of the show. And so they're trying to prolong giving us answers as to what's going on because they don't want to end the show. That's at least what my theory is right now.
Well, I know a lot of people are unhappy with it. I don't see them getting renewed for season 4. I hope they do. I think it's in talks that they want to do a full 5 seasons to tell the story in whole, but you have to give some answers. And I know we got an answer this episode, but I don't feel it's a real answer. I think it's just
because it's an answer that just, it doesn't really answer what are we doing here? Why are we here? What is this place? How did it happen? It doesn't answer any of that. We just keep getting introducing more and more mysteries. And I feel like they're creating a potential mess for themselves that they'll have to explain all in one season. That's going to just be, it's gearing up to be another Game of Thrones season 8. And dear God.
Well, I've never seen Lost.
Trauma right there, Toxic.
A bit, yeah, that's a bit. I would probably go with what Nadia was about to say and say it's probably akin more towards Lost, the way they left us.
I've never seen Lost, so
Yeah,
I don't know how.
Same
how
show
Lost...
creators, and it was the same kind of bait and switch near the end. But I hope I'm wrong. I was wrong about the penguin. Maybe I'll be wrong about this.
Oh, that was awesome. But this isn't the show about the penguins. I could talk about that, but yeah.
The writers should be clever enough to get around answers and still have a good show. But I don't think they're having a good show. I thought the first episode of season 3 was pretty strong. I thought we were going somewhere. Again, you don't have to tell me what this world is. You just give me something, like clues to something.
Has to happen. And that's the thing. Like,
drag it out.
If you go to season 1 and 2, you can tell me notable things that happened that defined the season. Nothing in season 3 has happened other than the death of Tin Shin. Nothing of note has happened. Okay, so Fatima was pregnant and now she's not. Okay.
Oh no, Jana, you're about to be real unhappy with Tilly. Tilly's dead, Jana. Tilly is dead. So last episode ended with Fatima killing Tilly. The whatever is taking over her, whatever, and we find out that in this episode she actually is pregnant, but it's not a human pregnancy or something. But she ended up killing Tilly at the end of last episode, and this is the aftermath, where I don't know how I feel about the time jump. We don't actually get to see Boyd discover what's going on. We just get time jump to him taking her into the woods to hide her. I feel it was a little bit of a cop out, a little bit, instead
His
of
reaction to
expanding.
her being the one that killed Tilly.
Not getting that reaction because we went from her killing Tilly to the opening of this episode of him hiding Fatima in the forest.
Yeah, you're right.
We didn't get the in between the two. Jasper, and Jasper was a total disappointment at least.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
you're so right. I just because they set it up to be like it was going to be this crazy thing. Okay, Jasper's going to give, and then even the explanation that his memories of what he remembered gave us nothing
new,
No.
or nothing. I wouldn't say nothing new, but nothing that leads to any theorizing or. Okay, so I think it's been theorized in the fan base, and someone in the chat can correct me, for a long time that these children were somewhat sacrificed in some form of way from the 7 kids on the
that
foot.
is what I understood. That is what it's been understood. Yeah.
So then you're just telling me again these kids were sacrificed again, and now it deals with them putting their hope in the ropes, and that's why the roots, and that's why they create these faraway trees. But
and to be fair, I don't have a huge issue with the information being meted out slowly over time, but it must be put out, and I don't have a problem with new mysteries being introduced, but don't hit me with more new mysteries and more, and it's just so confusing. It's, oh my God, I never watched mystery box shows before this, and I'm so mad at myself if this winds up just leaving us,
high and dry,
lost, to coin a phrase.
Yeah, because it's so many things that, like, it's one thing, and I don't know, like, if you're gonna try to tie everything up in another season, you got to make this one compelling. I don't understand the explanation of, you got these worms in your skin and you were able to kill one of these things, and now we're just not, like, as a town, we're not going to explore that.
Yeah,
we're not going to go out there and try to find the origins of that so we can kill more of them.
There's also so many loose threads. Go ahead, Nadia. I'm sorry.
Also, beginning of this season, he was talking about capturing one. Where did that go?
Yeah, so many loose threads.
Oh, yeah, you're right. But see, that's the crux of when you're doing a show, especially when you're doing a show in this version of Hollywood where everybody wants to do everything by committee, right? Where you got this show and there's too many opportunities for there to be loose ends, because this person wants their idea in it and that person wants their idea in it, and then this person is taking over, and then they decide that this person's idea was not good, so we're just going to leave it high and dry. And it's like, just like you said, like, you're right. I didn't even think about that. I didn't even think about that. Like, he did want to capture one. He's just not even doing it anymore. And I feel like we keep rehashing it. Like, how many times we're going to see Boyd in the office at the sheriff's office arguing with his son? Does it not feel like that scene has happened at least 4 or 5 times in the last 2 seasons?
At least that.
Boyd looks tired. Boyd looks tired.
I'm tired of arguing with his son.
Yeah. Hi, Julie. Welcome.
Hi, Nadia. Sorry I'm late.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Atreus, this is Julie. Julie, this is Atreus. Julie, basically her whole channel is from theories, like deep dives and very, like, 6-hour streams about these episodes. So if you really want to get, like, we talk about the tip of the iceberg on this channel, but if you really want to get into layers, you want to go deep, tune into Julie's channel and her stream.
Shouts out to Julie. How's it going?
Thanks. Nice,
Julie. If you have some answers, I will literally give you cash money on whatever cash app you have if you can give me some solid answers. Just name your price, because I am getting so frustrated with this show.
Like how it's like since the first season, we keep hearing that there's something worse out in the forest. We've yet to see it.
Where are my spiders too? Where are my giant spiders?
Right.
You know, what's this big ass thing crawling outside where they were in that little, not the tent, but that little hut out there where they found the food, and there's something crawling outside that's big as hell. We ain't seen that yet. Did you run out of the budget? Like, what happened?
Or what dragged Boyd and Sarah across in season 1?
No answers.
Right.
No answers.
Giant flying spider bears.
What? So I mean, I don't know. I've gotten, and I feel bad because I've sung the praises of this show to so many people. Hey, you got to check this show out.
Yeah,
there's literally memes on Facebook of people talking about how they're forcing their families to watch it, and then you're getting to the end of it, and it's still close your ears, Toxic. It's getting real season 8 of Game of Thrones ish.
No.
It's like they're gonna try to wrap everything up in one little fell swoop on whatever season 5 is gonna be, and it's gonna be terrible. I can just feel it.
The next episode is is titled Revelations, and I think it's supposed to be Revelations Part 1, and I think the finale will be Part 2, from my understanding.
Okay.
I think so, right, Julie?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, that's right.
So we might get Revelations, but I feel this episode was a teaser of some answers, but again, it didn't really give us answers. We get the fact that we've been. What is what's the fucking puppet that annoys the hell out of me? Thank you. Jasper. Finds out it's actually not Jasper. I'm like, so what screamed at Jade? So did Jade just completely imagine this dummy screaming at him then?
Pretty much.
And
I mean,
losing
Jade
his
is
mind?
another problem in itself. He's supposed to be this intelligent, but 3 seasons in, he's figured out nothing. Absolutely nothing.
I will say though, he's figured out he might not have figured out stuff, but he has figured out steps to get to maybe a conclusion, where I feel Jim, who's supposed to be this built roller coasters engineer, has given us nothing.
Nothing but a headache. God,
Yeah.
I hate Jim so bad.
I
want to see him.
don't hate him.
on
I feel bad for him because it's like I don't feel like he's being given much to do. I felt like, first of all, let's just be honest here. Like, you're married, your family's at risk, and your wife keeps volunteering to do all of this extra shit to figure stuff out, and you trying to keep your family together. It's like, okay, no, let me go and do it. But it seems like they were adamant about, like, oh, your wife is the key to everything instead of you. So you're stuck at home trying to keep your family together, and it sounds like you're doing all the nagging. Where traditionally, if this would have been Hollywood 20 years ago, it probably would have been the wife doing all the nagging. But it's like the roles have reversed. So now you're at home with the kids. Your daughter's cussing you out because she felt like you're.
Oh, they're both horrible parents. They're both horrible. Parents.
Yeah. Your daughter's cussing you out because she felt like you're a sorry ass father, and your son is confused. He don't know what the hell going on anymore. I thought like he had answers in season 1, and I just feel like now he just walks around with his face at the ceiling. And Jade, you know, like you were saying, maybe he's obviously gonna get the opportunity to show his worth, but for 3 seasons.
No, I feel that, but at the same time, it's like, and what you're saying is definitely true. But I mean, Jim is like, you know what Jim is like? Jim is like Lori from season 3 of Walking Dead. Is like
I didn't get that far.
Rick's wife, Lori. It's almost like he's in the wrong show. It's almost like he's supposed to be in some sort of Netflix relationship show, and he's here in this horror mystery show, and he doesn't understand what kind of show he's in. When he was yelling at Jade in this episode, no, I'm not done talking to you yet. Jade's just like, I'm over this. Just, dude, eat a dick. I'm good. I'm bye. It's just like, dude, like, who are you yelling at? Like, what are you trying to do? Like, and it's just and I said this on the last stream that I was on for this. Every single time I just get a bigger and bigger headache just listening to him and his wife go over stuff. Like, I don't care. I mean, I'm much more intrigued about
That part
kids and what the kids
part
are
I definitely agree with. Like when they're both on stream together, it's like, because I get what you're saying. Like, he's stuck in the wrong show. It's like, dude, like, do you not see what's going on around you? I get that you want to keep your family together, but there are monsters outside trying to rip us apart. And like, by the way, your daughter was stuck in a trance. I don't know if you remember that or not, but like, have you checked on her mental health? Like, I don't know.
The kids are
no, he dipped. He dipped to go into the forest. That's what happened.
Right, the kids are wandering off to go do adventures.
Right.
And the little boy has to go run and get help when she goes into, the time warp spasm and stuff. So it's just like, dude, what are you guys doing? What is even the point of anything that you guys do?
Yeah,
pointless.
So he's lost. He's lost, and I think it comes from. I'm trying to rationalize it because I don't hate the character as much as everybody. I'm looking at it as maybe he's just not dealing with it well because he wants to be so logical about everything, and none of this stuff is logical. But it's like, can we get some answers on the phone calls? Like,
yeah, no, those are forgotten. My thing is, I think the writers knew how to use him for season 2 to build that tower, right? Season 2 was a Taurus. and then afterwards just didn't know how to utilize him in any way. So the best way to utilize him is the drama between him and his wife. And what makes me mad is the last couple of streams we've had with this conversation is we're more focused on their relationship because it annoys us and because it uses so much screen time instead of actually the theories that and the clues that might lead to answers in this show. We're not given that. We're more focused on what's Jim and Tabitha's relationship.
That was just a waste.
And that's the thing. Nobody cares about that. I'm sorry, Julie. Go ahead.
That was a waste of screen time. I don't need soapy character drama. Like give Jim something useful to do or get rid of him. He's useless at this point, completely useless. And like I had somebody on one of the lives I was on, like defending Jim, saying, "Oh, he found the food. He just stumbled into it. He didn't go out hunting for food. He didn't go out. Sorry, my mom's opening the door, distracting me.
It's okay.
He didn't go out hunting for food. He went out looking for Tabitha. He went out looking for Tabitha, realized he shouldn't have because he could have left his kids orphans, and then he stumbled onto the food. So it's like anybody could have done that. Any living, breathing human out there with Kenny would have stumbled onto that food. Jim is useless. There's no point anymore to him. Yeah, he helped Jade with the radio tower. It was still Jade's brainchild, and he hasn't done anything useful since. So yeah. I don't understand the point of him anymore. And I loved how Jade put him in his place in this scene. Like, why are you talking about your wife like she's a child, filling her head with ideas? What is she, 9? That was fantastic. I was
that was a good response. I understood where Jim was coming from, but like that's why I was agreeing with what Toxic was saying is I think Jim is not reading the room. It's like, okay, you're worried about protecting your family and your marriage, but I don't know if you see, but everything going on around us, people are dying, people are being murdered. There's a chick pregnant with nothing that's forcing her to kill people. So like maybe you're like, I get it, you want to keep your family together, but maybe your relationship with your wife shouldn't be your focus. You should be using your engineering skills to help us engineer a way up out of here. But
yeah,
whatever.
Welcome, Zax. Welcome.
Hey, sorry, I'm late. I thought we were at 7:15, so I was going to be late, but not this late.
That's my fault for setting this time wrong. So that was on me with StreamYard. What did you think of this episode, Zax?
I thought it was like you guys were kind of down on it. I thought it was a bit better. We did learn a couple of things, and I think this whole scene was done with Jim so that you can see that Jim is Henry essentially.
Yes.
And I thought that's so. Then that gives us it gives Henry a reason to be in the room while he recognizes how Jim is talking about Tabitha. So he's there for that. That's kind of why the scene happened, I think, because like he's not going to ever move Jade off of his plan. So it's never going to work. And like I didn't take it that way. I thought it was just a way to show us that Henry now knows the interactions here and how they work in his relationship, and we can see the parallels. That's what I thought it was for. I like that.
Definitely. And it's especially trippy since I believe in the reincarnation theory. So
I do too.
This gave me more fuel for my argument because Henry literally looks at Jim and says, I look at you, I see me 40 years ago. I thought I needed to fix my wife, but she wasn't broken. And Jim is literally doing the same things with Tabitha. So if she's Miranda reincarnated, then that it makes such sense that they would have similar marital problems. They would pick similar men. So I liked that. I liked that scene. I liked how Henry put him in his place too. You just need to shut the F up and listen. Yeah, preach, Henry. That was fantastic. And
yeah, Henry was baller for that.
Yeah,
that was amazing. I clipped that to put it in my live so I can just play it.
I'm gonna put it on my phone.
That was great.
And then check out this part. Oh, sorry. Go.
No, okay, that's it.
I was going to say that. Think about this too. Like Jim's father's an alcoholic. We talk about that. We find that out. Henry is clearly an alcoholic. We've had that seed planted multiple times. Not that it has to be overly planted, but we do know that. And so the whole time they're together, he's like, well, Jim, my dad was an alcoholic, and Henry obviously is. And he's trying to get Jim to drink. He brings it up, I think, 3 separate times. Like, oh, have a drink. And then eventually he just pours him a glass and says, here. And so, like, I think that also sort of draws that parallel for them.
Okay.
All right.
Drink. Be like me.
Be like me.
Right?
I thought this episode
Henry
was a
had
lot
the
better.
best lines entirely in this entire episode.
This was Henry
He's
was
a very strong actor.
Yeah, he's good. I like Henry.
Robert Joy is a great actor. I hope they keep him on for a long time. He's a great addition to the cast, and and like Zach said, I agree. This is way better. I thought it was way better than episode 7. I mean, you can't even compare. Episode 7 for me was the low point of the whole season, and I didn't hate it, but I wanted so much more than we got. I enjoyed this episode a lot, actually. I don't know if it would be my favorite of the season, but I really did. Yeah, I loved.
I would agree. It's better than the last episode, and I'm with Julie.
Yeah.
I think actually last episode is the lowest of the entire series.
Wow.
Because I think I would watch season 2 entirely.
I agree.
And I cannot find an episode in season 2 that frustrated me and made me so infuriated as the last episode in this series.
This was definitely an entertaining episode, and I don't disagree. I guess I'm getting kind of skeevy thinking about how close we are to the finale and how little information that we have. So, I mean, yes, I did enjoy watching it, and I enjoyed rewatching it so I could take notes for this stream. But and I have some things that I really like, especially Henry. I actually thought what's the cop's name? The cute cop that can't shoot right? Acosta. I thought she was pretty okay in this episode.
Because she was limited.
Exactly. There you go.
Fair.
Because to me, her motivation, like what they did with her, is just absolutely baffling. She went from this stern cop who's seems like she's confident, know what she's doing, and it would make sense for that to totally flip when she realized she's in a crazy world where the things that you normally believe in aren't making a lot of sense. Then she gets in there, she's very emotional, and then it's obvious at one point that she was really like trying to get Boyd's approval, and then it flipped to where she came in and she started making demands. It's like, wait, who the fuck are you?
When she got up in Boyd's face, I was like, dude, this guy has been to Afghanistan and Iraq. You have lost your ever-loving mind.
Like who are you talking to? Like, you came in crying and boo-hoo and this, that, and the third, distraught, and then all of a sudden you worked up the energy to come to me and talk to me in my face, talking about give me your gun. No. Yeah. And then he gave her the gun. And I was just like,
it's not the fact that he gave her the gun. He also showed her where he hides the stuff too. So she knows exactly where the bullets are and everything. 11 hours, Julie? You're crazy, girl.
Yeah.
You were talking about this show for 11 hours?
Yeah.
Holy crap. I don't know what to say to that.
They need to hire you, Julie. This show needs you.
Yeah, for real.
There's something wrong with me. I know. Yeah, people were calling me because I was falling asleep. I was falling asleep, and like Tony Teflon was calling me on Facebook Messenger to wake me up.
Wow.
Hi, Nick. Welcome, Nick.
Hello, everyone.
Yeah,
we have a full house today.
What's going on, guys and gals?
So our mole is dead. I still think she's a mole. Tilly. Trace, I think Tilly's a mole.
I think it's that other. I think it's that other fat chick in Donna. I still think Donna keeps popping up. Did you notice they're giving crucial information and Donna just pops up? That happens. Go rewatch some of the episodes.
Remember when I said it's like the same scene where he's arguing with his son all the time? Like
Ellis,
literally 8 times throughout this show, he's arguing with somebody in that office and Donna just pops up. What's going on? It's like, mind your business.
Yeah.
Like why?
I think Donna's going to be the character sacrifice this season. I think I really think Donna's going to break, and I think she's going to off herself.
I guarantee that's not
dark.
Well. If that's going to happen, it's going to be out of guilt for working with the monsters. That's the only thing I can think of.
She's not.
I just think they're trying to give her screen time because she's one of the main characters, but that's just me.
But all she does is whine now. Like,
no. Yeah, her. I'm not saying her screen time is used efficiently or effectively, because like all she does is kind of shows up, pouts, complains, and basically goes on her depressing way.
Is it me or is Boyd carrying this show?
100%.
100%. 100%.
Harold is 100%,
and that's why they can't kill him off, because
Harold carries almost every show he's in, if I'm being honest. I don't think I've ever seen a show with him in it, and I didn't think Harold was basically the main character.
I think his performances are Emmy worthy, in my opinion. Like, I can feel everything that he's feeling as a leader of this town, and really sometimes succeeding and then failing miserably. and then and like you could feel it through his face and all of his emotions and things like that. Even when he was telling his son, was it when he was talking to his son when he asked him which one of these people you want to sacrifice? When his son was asking for a solution, and he looked at him, he said, "Okay, so which one you gonna sacrifice, man?" And that I was like, "Wow!" And that.
Oh, you muted.
Oh, you went mute. You're muted yourself, Atreus. You're muted again.
My bad.
No, it's okay.
It's okay.
Balancing black voices again, Nadia, huh?
I will say that this episode had the ability to be a lot more intense with this setup in the beginning here, where Donna's like, you need to find Sarah and you need to figure out if Sarah did this, because if you don't find the person who did this, doesn't matter, the town will blame Sarah and they will be coming after her. I was like, oh man, they've set up the tension where maybe in this episode we are going to get that conflict of, we've got these people from Colony House in the town on Sarah's doorstep, and then Boyd has to decide, does he sacrifice his daughter-in-law or does he save Sarah? Like there's a choice that could be put here, and I felt it like just kind of sizzled out after,
because she ruined it by demanding answers. It's like, no, like let the tension play out. That was you're right, that was good. And then you caved to your son and you just told her anyway. Like that was so what was the point of trying to keep it a secret and moving her all the way out there if you was just going to cave and just tell?
I think Boyd is under the impression that Donna is on his side. I mean, more often than not, in the past she has been, but I think it's very clear that she is not on his side now and saying some wild shit like the town don't have faith in you no more. That's crazy to say. You guys want to still be digging holes underground and hiding from the monsters? Because if not for Boyd, that's what you'd be doing.
I'm glad you said that, because it's actually pretty bad that she said that fresh off of old boy walking through that tree and popping up in that pool like that. Because the entire point of that end was like, is this what you want? If you don't listen to me, this is where you're going to end up. And then for her to say that, it kind of undoes that.
Yeah.
She has no purpose this season, it seems like. She's kind of like, and she's a good actress. I still like her just fine, but she has nothing to do, and Boyd has to be in most scenes or else we don't care about those scenes.
Yeah.
One thing about this, it's a nitpick, but I watched it again, and I can't believe Fatima could kill Tilly with those shears like that, but
she couldn't.
So but it's a nitpick anyway.
I mean, unless there's like some kind of like, well, I think you mean physically, like physically. Yeah. I don't think she could unless she's got like monster strength that started up or something, but they
got to be very sharp, and you got to have a lot of strength.
I could not have killed Tilly with those shears.
Get through the ribs are not easy, even though she's old. It's not a picnic. Nitpick. But Acosta's hot in real life, just in case anyone wonders. I did look into her for science purposes only, and
I remember that.
And
sure.
She's smoking hot. She's all over. She's all over TikTok and Instagram. Yeah,
I need a link for research purposes.
It's in the you were added afterwards because I was like, it's in the group chat. I will say Elgin's being very sus throughout this whole episode. And
I'm so tired of him.
I am too, because I don't know the direction that he's taking, because I'm like, I feel like it's against his character to try to listen to an entity to kidnap Fatima to then who knows what to happen. Like, I feel he's not a villain, he's not a bad person, but just like a couple of you said last episode when we were talking about it, he's more like childlike, and it just feels off character for me for him to follow through with this, unless he's been promised or possessed or taken over in some way,
like Sarah was when Sarah killed Mr. Chow and her brother on accident.
Yeah, it seems very similar.
I can't stand his character. I feel like they don't know where they want him to be. Somebody said he's like childlike, which I agree with. I thought that there was some type of relationship building with him and Jim's
Julie.
daughter. Yeah. And then it's like they do that one moment, and this is why I was talking about the writing by committee stuff. They did that at one moment, then they went off of it, and then they went back with them being in the little basement, discovering the photos and everything. And now she has a thing for the the other guy, what I forget.
Who's way too old for her.
Randall?
Way too old
Randall,
for
yeah.
Randall?
her.
Randall.
Yeah.
How old is he in the show?
He's supposed to
30s.
mid
30s.
30s. Yeah.
And
30s.
she's
Yeah.
like
17. 17.
Probably
wow.
17, yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
you know, legal is legal. It's still kind of strange for you to do that in a,
17's not legal.
No, I'm saying assuming
Okay.
that he like because time has progressed. So I don't know how old she was when they first got there. It seemed to me like 16, 17. I don't know how much time has passed. I'm assuming
Nobody's really celebrated a birthday, so I
16.
don't know. 16 when she got there.
can we edit that out?
Nah, you're fine. You're fine.
You're fine.
Too
You're
bad,
fine.
dude.
We all think it's creepy. We all think it. We
Yeah.
all.
Yeah,
we're
we
all-
agree.
But his
I-
the dude Randall, his entire motivation makes no sense to me because you essentially got sacrificed with Boyd, which I don't disagree with his choice. Randall was kind of an asshole, and if you needed to sacrifice anybody, that would be the one sacrifice that I wouldn't be too mad at. And then you come back, and it's like you have no ambition. You're just gonna lay up in the hospital.
Well, he's also seeing the cicadas too.
Mhm.
And I think Julian Randall's relationship is, I think Randall looks to her as a little sister, and I think she looks to him as like a crush, like has a crush. Not saying it's right, but I think that's, and I think it
agree.
just doesn't work. The chemistry between the two of them, it just because
No.
it's difference between.
You sure he looks at her like a sister?
I don't. It doesn't come off creepy to me when it's his end of the things.
No.
Who knows? But to
She
me,
always gets little crushes. She had little crushes on Boyd's son,
Fatima,
and she had
right?
little crushes
Ellis
on
and
Fatima.
Fatima. Yeah.
Like right
that's
off
right.
the first or second episode or something. She was, "Can I kiss you?"
She's
So,
just in heat the entire time she's been there, basically.
yeah,
Jesus.
basically.
Like, fuck, man.
Yeah.
What are these writers doing?
Well,
Yeah,
yeah,
I
they
don't
were having
know.
like an orgy house the first season. Go ahead, Julie.
Exactly.
I-
You got people riding each other on the freaking chair right next to Julie when she's trying to sleep. Like, what are you trying to promote here? Like, of course she's like, oh, I can date a dude in his 30s because I'm 16. Like, setting the wrong
Mm.
example here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she really needs to stop. It's getting really cringeworthy. Like they need to. Why are they writing her? I know this happens in real life. I know teenage girls have crushes. It's normal. Crushes on older manly. It's happened to everybody. Who hasn't been in high school or something and had like a cute teacher, or you have a crush on them. But it's like I don't want to watch a girl heavy flirting with a 30-year-old dude on a TV show. Like it's just weird and creepy. She's definitely flirty in these scenes. And I know the actress said in an interview that she doesn't like people talking about this, but it's like I think she
How can you
doesn't
not?
have I think she needs to get some more experience with this sort of thing, because I don't think she realizes that she's playing those scenes in a really flirty way, and she's new to acting, I think. So, but she's heavily flirting with Randall. Nobody can convince me otherwise. But I mean, to his credit, he seems to look at her like a little sister, as he should, and he treats her as such. So that's a good thing. And people shipping them together in the fandom are creepy.
Oh,
and
that's
weird.
creepier. That's
Yeah.
I don't
creepier
like
than
that. I don't
Jana,
like
Yeah,
that's
that thing.
not great.
That's
yeah,
not
Jenna
okay.
the Psyker. I will say though, when I was 18, my first boyfriend was 7 years older than me, so I get it. So,
I'm glad you
um,
said older. The 7
yeah.
years, yeah.
When you-
The 7 years
21
part, yeah.
in your
yeah.
life. Okay.
I will give it to
Canadian.
Sarah. I think Sarah's the MVP of this show because Sarah she has been through the ringer this entire series. So I'm definitely team Sarah, because I would have probably had punched Victor in the face if he had approached me in that way. So in this, Sarah went to go get Tabitha because it seems to be Tabitha's the only one that can calm Victor down, which kind of is your theory, Julie, that Tabitha is a reincarnation of his mother.
Yes.
Maybe there's the connection there. And both of them are, I think, very crucial to the whole issues going on in From, or maybe they're them not realizing they are the ones that potentially could save everybody.
Yep.
Maybe that's where the story's progressing. But for me, who's afraid of dummies, I was disappointed that Jasper ended up being just the boy in white.
Me too. I mean, I love a haunted dummy trope. I enjoy that, and I should have just stuck with my original prediction. I said that thing's never going to talk. It's just never going to happen. And then I thought, Well, it would be actually really fun and creepy, and it wouldn't clash with the tone of the show at all if it just says something creepy like the voice on the phone did to Jim, like Thomas' voice. Like, just have it say something creepy and then never talk again. I would have been satisfied with that, but we didn't get that. We got a bait and switch with the boy in white. And I was like, you got to be kidding. I was so annoyed at that. But I mean, I was ultimately happy with the revelation we got. I was disappointed.
What's the revelation? What's the revelation?
That it was the boy in white.
That it was the boy in white, and that the whole thing essentially, it seems to have started this whole thing with the sacrifice of those kids. That's the message that I got from it.
Yeah. I agree.
Which has been theorized the entire time in the fandom anyway.
Yeah. I thought you were going to talk about the time loop thing, how the time.
Oh, we'll get to that. Yeah. I don't know if I personally think it's astral projection. I don't actually think it's time traveling, but we'll get to that point.
And this scene really, I mean, and this just fueled my argument that she's his mother reincarnated even more, because she was just so, I know, maybe she's just being maternal, because she's a mother and she's caring and whatnot, but just the way that once again, she was the only one who was able to unlock a buried memory of his the second season in a row. She kept saying, "You're okay, Victor, you're okay." That's what you say to your child, like her body language, touching his face. Like she was just so his mother. To me, it's just so in my face. So I enjoyed this scene. And there's an interesting theory going around about Sarah, which is to me a bit more out there. I'm not married to this one at all, but I'm willing to consider it. And I don't know. I think it was Tony Teflon that came up with it. And he said that he thinks Sarah is Eloise reincarnated, which would make sense given how close she's randomly become to Victor, which I never saw coming. Like, why is he hanging out with her of all people? And she's good with him. She had that scene where, he put his head on her shoulder. Like, they seem very much like brother, sister, but again, I'm not married to that one. I just think it's an interesting idea.
Well, at least she's being a mother to somebody, not her own kids.
Ooh, in your face. So we're all understanding that Victor's actually a monster, right? And he's just fighting his nature. We're all understanding that.
You think everybody works for the monsters, or
I don't see. No, I don't think he works for the monsters. I think he is a monster.
I don't think he's a monster. I think I'm still with the theory that
I can prove it.
My theory is still that he was not considered in the last cycle of sacrificing people, that he was just kind of a one-off, that they were not expecting to survive. And he's just a random piece on the chessboard that they do not know what's going to be doing. Because especially when the last episode where one of them was like, if you keep coming down here, we're going to, in essence, like keep you down there and stuff. So I really don't think whatever entity is working behind the scenes expected Victor to survive that massacre the last
He's an
round.
outlier. He's an outlier, basically. So,
but prove it, Toxic.
Well, you kind of just stepped on my proof. The way that she said, "You keep coming back here, we're going to make you stay." Not keep you here like they talked about, like with Randall, but make you stay, as if he comes and goes there lots of times and he does it. And I'm still not convinced about how everybody, he was there by himself for so long, and all the times that he's come close to getting ripped apart, and the way that he can navigate Fromville as well as he does. I think his little gaps in his understanding and his bad memory, besides just annoying the shit out of the audience, is due to the fact that he's like part monster, and he's trying to like overcome it and stop himself from turning into the monster. And that's why he has all those problems. But it's also why he seems to have some kind of golden ticket to just kind of move around and survive as long as he has. It just doesn't, it's one of the theories that I've heard, and I've kind of latched onto more than some of the other ones that I've heard.
Oh, there's definitely something going on here, that there's no way he could have survived all this time. And, the monsters clearly don't want to hurt him, that they just allowed him to come down there and take Jasper and leave. I personally, like, that's an interesting theory, and I've heard that one too. I think that it's just he's been protected all this time. I think that he's been protected because he was kind of like a living reminder of what happens, like the horrible things that can happen if you go out looking for answers. He's, permanently stunted, and his mother got, I don't know what happened to her, but she lost her life somehow because she went out looking for answers. So up until this season, he was telling everybody, stop asking so many questions. You know, people who go out looking for answers don't come back. So he was serving the big bad kind of without even realizing it, because it doesn't want people looking for answers. But I think he could get the axe by next season, because he's not doing that anymore. He's trying to remember things. So yeah.
I've also heard a theory that's getting really popular that all the newer characters are just younger versions of the older characters, and they've in some kind of weird time loop. I really hope that's not true, but I don't know. There's been lots of theories about that you know, Elgin is really Boyd, and the guy that was on the wall is really Randall, and this person or Acosta is really Donna. And, you know, it's just like the whole thing is some kind of weirdo time loop that like wipes their memories out and they can't remember it. And they just keep on doing the same thing over and over again. Hopefully that's not true, but it's getting really popular on TikTok.
I would love that if Eloise is someone we already know, like if she were Donna. I've heard that one. That would be really entertaining. I'd like a shock reveal like that.
I think time
how does that work then? How do you exist in two places at once?
Well, I mean, you could look at it as this is like, you know, the Nietzsche philosophy of time being a flat circle, that everything that you're doing now you will always be doing, and you have been doing it and you will be doing it forever. So if they are showing that there is some sort of timey-wimey, wimbly-wombly thing going on with that tunnel underneath and that threshold. So there is something happening there, because, you know, the secret of who threw the rope down to Boyd is revealed. And so that's something that has already happened. But if you go by the theory of the flat circle states that everything that is happening has already happened and is always will be happening. So she throws the rope down to him in our time watching it now, but we see time differently. So if that's the case, then, you know, I don't know.
I mean, I definitely think that's definitely in the lines of astral projection. I don't think there's this sort of time travel. It doesn't make sense, even in a fictionary sense either. So, but even to like the Nietzsche example, how is it that some people are able to be in two places at once while others aren't? And then if you go through a tree and in essence try to do some sort of escapism, or even if you like we see certain people, right? Like this answers one of our questions here, which is why I thought this was a good episode, or at least a better episode from last week, where you see Julie be the one to throw it down to Boyd, which answers a question from previous season.
Where the rope come from? Yeah.
Well, right. So, and obviously, like she in the up on the surface, you want to call it, she's like freaking out basically. Right? Like she's almost like having a seizure. So her body's there. She astral projected over to another sense. But if Dale, as an example, tries to do something, he ends up in a pool.
Okay.
But I don't know. I think astral projection is a better example of what's happening here in Fromville, but I don't know if every single character here is able to do it. It's almost like who is granted these, this potential, essentially. Like, we see, I'm sure Elgin is another person, right? Like, how did he know, but the body in that room behind the dresser or whatever it was, right? Okay. And if that ends up being Fatima, who else has astral projection?
I think the body's a male, though. That
was
ended
it?
up. I think that's a man.
I think so too.
Man's body too. And I actually think it's what's his face? The dude with the beard in this caught here in this
Martin.
Yeah, I actually think it's Martin's body.
Okay.
Because Julie's now proven that this place is accessible by astral projection or in some way being in two places as once, right? Your physical body's one place where you yourself could, I guess, be somewhere else. So who's to say that his mind and such is locked here, but his actual physical body was in that room, potentially decaying away?
Yeah.
So then how did that affect Boyd?
Right. Like she
but
didn't...
Boyd got here through a faraway tree, right? He went into a faraway tree and then he got stuck here. I also think Boyd, in a sense, is an exception to the rule because the entity is kind of playing with Boyd, right? He's like showing his dead wife to him, telling him, there's no hope in his sense, don't feed it hope. So I think Boyd to me is the exception to the rule, but I personally don't think this is time traveling. I know a lot of people are like, oh, it's time. How is it time traveling when her actual physical body is still in one spot by itself? Like she's not actually traveled back.
What he's saying is she physically affected something that has already happened. Like she didn't.
But that's astral projection, though.
But that's actual projection. I don't think it's like
astral projection. Whereas time travel is literally like the physical aspect. Like if it was time travel, Julie would have disappeared right in front of Ethan and then appeared here in this tunnel. But
my question was, if the guy that was stuck on the wall was astral, if that wasn't his real body, how did he affect Boyd's real body?
Oh, with the worms, giving him the worms.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
Yeah. I don't know.
Also, I am still stuck on the reason why what's his name got stuck in the pool in the wall in the pool is because the bottle that was supposed to take him to whichever thing he was didn't have the coordinates in it because it was taken out. Boyd didn't wind up inside of a wall, but he did wind up in the well. And the reason why he didn't wind up in a bad spot was because he had the number, he had the paper in his pocket when he went in there. And the reason why what's her name didn't wind up in the wrong spots because she had the lunchbox with one of the numbers was in the lunchbox. I think you got to have I think you got to have the coordinates with you, or else your magic ticket, or else you don't go. You don't go where you're supposed to go. That's funny. Yeah,
that's my husband.
So, do you guys think that it's possible or plausible that Martin actually was a Fromville person?
Was Martin the guy that was stuck on the wall?
Yeah. That we see here that he actually ended up there when he tried to go through the tree instead.
I don't know. I really don't know.
Because I don't know how you could be locked up like that when you're trying to astral project. So either he was physically put there, right? Like someone caught him wherever this is taking place right now, where Julie is and where Boyd was in the bottom of that well. Someone had to physically put him there and lock him up, or he somehow astral projected into that situation, which is, unfortunate, but like it was a means to an end, right? Like him being there was so that Boyd could get out because Julie threw him the rope so he could get the worms from his body to Boyd's body. And then Boyd killed Smiley. So, but it's like, but where does it go from here?
I think this is a cop out showing that Julie's the one that put the rope down and just I don't know. I feel this is not going anywhere for us.
Same.
It's just a way for the writers to go, haha, let's just throw somebody, let's throw one of the three is the person that actually is the person who threw the rope down to Boyd, and then we're going to introduce this like astral projection or dreamlike state ability. I feel it's a cop out, but
I personally think it's both astral projection and time travel, because she's basically going into, like when Boyd went into this thing himself, initially it seemed like he was just going back in time, and then it became clear by the end of the season that was a dream state that he was in, because he goes back into it and sees the three chained up in there. So that was a dream state. That means it was a dream state when he was there with Martin. So I think that Boyd time traveled into a dream state. So what we didn't see was how Boyd did it. It showed it with Julie. What we didn't see was Boyd. So I think what happened was that we did not see was Boyd went into a tree. The tree transported him into the ruins, but he was so sick from the spider bites at that point, he passed out. And we know he was passed out because he was dreaming within the dream state. He was dreaming that he was walking down the street ringing the bell by himself, and started raining. And then he wakes up, he's in the well. So I think he was just asleep laying in the ruins the whole time. And they just didn't show us that because they didn't want us to know what was going on. They wanted it to remain more mysterious. But I think that he time traveled back into a dream state from either the past or the future. I say the past personally, but it could be either. And then Julie just did the same thing. She astral projected herself into a dream state. We see dream states on the show all the time. They're just in the present. This is a dream state from either the past or the future. And so she just did the same thing. Her body was laying there the whole time. We see her walking around. It was the same thing with Boyd, in my opinion. And I think, you know, I didn't really need the answer, to be honest. This is one answer I didn't need.
Right, exactly. I was going to say the same thing. We don't need this.
Because if it's a dream state, no one needed to throw the rope. Anything can happen in a dream. So I was satisfied. Like, okay, it was a dream state. Nobody threw the rope. It just appeared. And as far as Martin, last thing I'll say, I don't necessarily think he was really there at all, because they've shown us how they can use the images of people who are deceased. Whatever big bad entity is controlling things. I don't believe that was really Abby's ghost or something. She was clearly messing with him. So I think Martin is just somebody else who died there. They used his image because he had a Marine tattoo that was able to manipulate Boyd to stay. Right. And so there are theories going around that maybe this is the future and it's Randall or something, but I doubt Randall has a Marine tattoo. I don't think he was a Marine as far as we know. So
He's got a haircut and attitude like a Marine.
Yeah. So yeah, I think Martin is just an entity. I think he was just an entity to screw with Boyd. He was saying Julie, you know, as if he recognized Julie, but he also said to Boyd, what if Abby was right? What if it's all just a dream? The entity knows everything too. So he didn't necessarily have to be someone who knew Julie. I get why people are guessing maybe it's Randall in the future and it's a fun theory, but I just think he's the entity.
Man, hell no.
I think we're gonna see both. What's her face? The other.
Meryl.
What's her name?
Marielle.
Marielle, thank you.
Yeah, morphine chick. And Randall. I think we're both going to see instances of them do some sort of astral projection, much like we saw Julie here. Because in the prior episode, you know, Julie says you feel it, right? And Randall didn't want any of that. He was like, "Nah, screw this." What would have happened if Randall what happened if Randall goes back? What are we going to see? What sort of astral projection is going to happen at that point?
Will they end up here? Would they end up somewhere else?
That's my question. Like, and that's what I'm saying. Like, we don't know what instance of every character that is specifically touched and how they have some effect at some point in time inside, you know, the Fromville area. And it's frustrating, and it's like, I get it, because I do think there's a bigger part to be played here. Like, I don't think it's all for naught. I think there's something else specifically happening, and I think this is an intentional design of using this, you know, astral projection type of.
I hope you're right.
Dear
God, I hope you're right.
Oh, I do too, because if not, I'm be pissed.
Maybe.
I'm be pissed.
I know we're gonna kind of keep this stream short because we all have the fight we want to watch. The one thing I just want to talk about lastly, because to me the revelation that the doll was the boy in white, and all the theories proven in a sense that these children were sacrificed in some way. I think that we've all heard that throughout all fan theories. It's just,
I think we can bank on that one. Yeah, I think that's bankable.
Yeah. So I want to talk about Fatima and Elgin in this last bit of her being kidnapped in a sense. And I think I sent it to the group that the reason why Tilly told her to run is this particular scene where she should have just ran for it instead of going into this underground, whatever it's going on. And now confirming that she is pregnant, but it's not a human baby, or at least not this timeline or wherever world baby. It's definitely has something to do with Kimono Lady. So I'm a little lost with Fatima, to be honest. I feel like I can't explain this. I have no theories for this, so I'm curious to see what the panel has.
I know I'm tired of her character. I've never done a I've never done a 180 on a character as much, because I was kind of really feeling her and, you know, what's boy's son's name again? I keep forgetting.
Ellis.
I was really feeling them. But I'm ready for them to get knocked off already. I'm not gonna lie. I just feel like boys just gonna have to mourn. I'm tired of Ellis.
Me too.
Y'all, I'm like, that's why I'm surprised so many people hate Jim. I hate Ellis right now.
I hate Ellis too.
Ellis
We all
is
hate
useless.
Ellis.
Yep.
He has no answers.
No.
I felt like, if anything, Fatima has protected him more than he's protected her. And he just, I don't know. He acts like what he's supposed to act like, a young 20-year-old. He doesn't know any better. He doesn't, not really mature enough to deal with what he's dealing with, which is fine. But like, we got to give him something else to do. We need him to do something heroic. His father has carried the show. Ellis has done nothing. And now Fatima is turned into I get it. She's pregnant with something now, but she's turned into an annoying, whiny mother.
Is this how pregnant women are?
No. This is different.
It's how women are in general, but not just pregnant.
Hey, all right, Toxic. We'll see you later. No.
I kid. Woman power.
So is she giving birth to a nightmare creature, or is she?
Yeah.
Because there's a theory that these creatures, the only way for them to escape whatever level in this world they are, is that they have to escape through being a human or through a human. So what's going on here? And I'm curious, Julie, what your 11-hour stream, what did you come to a conclusion to?
I don't think it's going to be a nightmare creature. I think it could be something else, and I hope it's something else, because I would find that a lot more interesting personally. And also the idea that that she's giving birth to a nightmare creature to replace Smiley. I think she was already pregnant when Smiley died, so I don't think it's that. Either whether or not it's a replacement theory thing, it could still be a nightmare creature, but I would hope it's something a lot bigger than that, because if you think about it, this whole season, that's been like the focal point of the season. This pregnancy has been like, it's really taken up the most airtime, and it was set up. If I look back into season 2, the pieces were set in motion for this way back at the beginning of season 2. Elgin came in on the bus. He had a dream, which he forgot right away. Tilly came in on the bus. She was fixated on this pregnancy. Marielle is a pediatric nurse. She tended to Fatima. I don't think any of that was an accident. I think it was all set up for Fatima to bring some kind of entity into this place, maybe some kind of, corporeal form of the big bad, because I don't think it has a form right now. I don't think it's like some guy just walking around that we haven't met, or some giant monster. I think maybe it doesn't have a form, so it has to use the monsters and the cicada entity to interact with these people. So yeah, I'm hoping it's something more interesting. And Elgin's dream had to have something to do with this, because he forgot about it, and then when he heard Fatima was pregnant in season 2, he remembered his dream all of a sudden, at least some of it. So clearly this has all been set up. The pieces have been put into motion, so they have to pay this off with something huge. And if all it is just the birth of another nightmare creature, I'll be disappointed. Personally, I want it to be something bigger, more powerful.
It's kind of Rosemary Baby-ish going on, where in a sense she's giving birth to the Antichrist.
Mm-hmm.
Of Frumville,
like immaculate conception by this entity, like that's what it seems like.
Didn't somebody on the panel say that they thought Boyd had the worms? He gave the blood to his son. The son had sex with her, and then she got pregnant.
But I thought he got rid of the worms before giving his blood, though.
Maybe he didn't get rid of all of it. I don't know.
Yeah, he did get rid of the worms, and I think it's weird, though, that they all assumed that everything would definitely be fine. Nobody knows how any of this works. How do you know his blood? Like, we don't know his blood wasn't tainted in some way by that. So I think that could have caused this. Maybe she already felt like she was pregnant, but maybe this would transformed it into something else when she.
Maybe she was pregnant, and then it.
But he swapped blood with his son, though. That. It's not like she got more pregnant after that.
No, but I mean, it's like an Alien, the new Alien movie. She's pregnant, and then the alien baby, like, it turns into like the big monstrosity.
But I'm saying, though, like, I thought the implication was that his blood may have affected her pregnancy, but unless we're saying that he gave his blood to his son, who then went and had sex with her while she was pregnant, and then he passed on.
That's what I'm saying.
But if if she was already pregnant, there would have been an actual human baby in there when they were doing the ultrasound, though. This is clearly some sort of entity pregnancy. This is not a.
Yeah, I don't know.
Unless
I was just trying to dispel the notion that his worms caused a problem with her pregnancy. That's all I was.
But the worms could have caused the entity pregnancy, or in a sense, something to deal with it. I think it's kind of like what Julie says, where it's the only way this entity might be able to escape this world, right? Or come forward. Like we're, in a sense, like it's season 4 of Stranger Things. We're finally going to get our big Vecna, like our big villain. We've had all these little villains throughout the first 2 seasons and stuff, and now we're going to get our big baddie for the last 2, potentially.
Well, like Elgin says, it's just not yours, and that the baby knows you have to stay.
That's creepy.
It was creepy as hell.
Yeah. So
does Fatima make it out of this pregnancy?
I hope not.
Probably not. It's hard to imagine her making it out. I personally wouldn't miss the character, or I agree with you guys. I have no interest in her or Ellis. I just don't want to see Boyd suffer. But yeah, I mean, I don't really care.
Yeah,
and there's been so much focus on them. I just had no interest in that kind of any of their storylines. But
I did want to clap back just a little bit, and I know we're trying to be tight on time. I do want to defend Ellis just a little bit, just because the way his interaction with his dad near the end, when his point of what if you had a chance to run away with mom after she did what she did, just the fact that he could even talk about that, and then it's not a bad analogy, and it is a good point, and it definitely touched Boyd. So I'm not defending Ellis. I'm not saying he's redeemable. I'm just saying that was a little bit of a human, that was that's logical that he said that, and it obviously touched Boyd, and it makes sense to me. So I mean, I don't know.
On that. I agree with that.
Yeah, I think it's not that Ellis is there's no arc for Ellis. That's the problem. Ellis is just Fatima's
he's just there.
Husband. Yeah, he's just there. He's just there to fall back on. He's the tie to Boyd.
Mr. Fatima.
To me, Kenny's more of a son, obviously, to in my opinion, to Boyd than his own son.
Which is so strange.
Yeah.
This show was built around the idea of having, father and son come back together, and he can pass on those lessons like a father would do to his son, and instead it's Kenny.
Do we know anyone on the top of our heads who is or was wearing long jeans and a white or light blue striped button-down shirt? That's
70s almost.
Because that's who's Elgin finds, right, in the secret room.
Oh,
that's what he's wearing. I wanted to go back and see. I was like, what was that person wearing? And then I was tilting my head because I'm like, okay, he has like long hair, or like a piece of it is long, and then there's beard. There's facial hair as well. So
Henry.
And it sounds like the chained up dude. What's his name?
Martin.
Martin.
Yeah, I was like, the only person that we've seen that has hair and a beard was Martin.
Called it. I called it.
Not to beat a dead horse, but have we seen Randall's arm where the tattoo would be? Has he ever had a sleeveless moment?
Oh.
I don't know.
No.
I don't think.
But
I don't think so.
I think that would be revealed in any of the him in the hospital and such. I think if they wanted us to connect with that, we would have seen something by now.
Tinfoil hat moment. Sorry to interject.
No, you're fine.
Okay, so let's say Martin is locked in this room, right? He's, barricaded in there. What happened, or what if he somehow astral projected, right? Like they knew that he would end up in the dungeon area. And so then someone met him in the dungeon area, tied him up, and then he's dead in this secret room here.
Okay.
Which is why he's still in the astral projection, or like he's still locked up, but his actual body rotted away in the corner there.
I don't think that's too far-fetched, considering the fact that when he saw Julie, he told her she needed to get the hell up out of there, because it sounds like he knows that even astral projecting you can be caught. You can be trapped here.
Yep.
Yeah,
and isn't the cellar
same thing to Boyd too? Sorry.
The cellar is where where one of them saw the image of the guy with the boulder on him, right? I think it was.
Yeah.
It was Jade,
So
right?
So this is an area that can, in a sense, be connected to all the areas that they've transported or astral project or dream projected to. Like it's a prime location.
Yeah, Julie actually teleported there too when she went through the tree after the House massacre.
Right.
Yeah, she teleported through there, right through that that wardrobe thing that Elgin opened, and also that's where that guy under the boulder was, inside that wardrobe thing. So yeah, it's
interesting.
Yeah.
I want to make one final note about Fatima, because Niet's not here with us, but a couple weeks ago when he was on, he said that and I'm going to butcher his words, that Fatima kind of in the beginning represented hope, the spring, the summer being the, in a sense, the sunshine, right, to the group, right? And ever since getting pregnant, she's started to decay. We're in winter. I wonder if that's why this entity chose her, because he picked basically the brightest star amongst them that in a sense people look to as, it's going to be okay here. If Fatima's smiling and says everything's going to be all right, and decided to just completely smother that light out.
I'll buy
That's
that.
exactly what I think. That's
also because it's part of that would also break Boyd, because it breaks the sun, and Boyd loves her like a daughter, as he said.
Yeah.
I just think that we're too smart for this show sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, I think all of our ideas and like all the theories that we here on the panel have had in the course of this season have been far more interesting and intriguing than what we've seen. And I know there's plenty that we haven't seen, and there's plenty that can still happen that we all may actually go, you know what? We can get behind that and those answers and those paths that you set before us and for your characters. But also, if they don't pan out that way and you're like, hey, why didn't we just write the show anyway? Like, it's like, it sucks.
That's what fan fiction's all about, Nick. That's why there's a whole bunch of fan fiction.
I've been saying they need to hire the fans as writers. I mean, fans have been coming up with amazing theories on this show for years. And I think the fans think about the show, put more deep thought into it, way more than the actual writers. No offense to the writers, but I just, writers on a show, they spend a certain amount of time writing the show and then they don't think about it anymore. Fans put so much time and effort into deeply thinking about theories. That just hire a bunch of fans, I say.
Yeah.
Well, I know normally we go 2 hours, but we all want to watch Mike Tyson beat the crap out of Jake Paul. So on that note, to let everybody kind of give their final thoughts on the episode, and then go ahead and plug yourself as well, and we'll get out of here. Atreus, thank you so much for joining us. I hope to have you back next week. What did you think? And tell us what people can find you and like what you got going on next. Sorry.
I mean, this would be my first time hearing all of the theories. I've been so busy lately. I haven't had a lot of time to deep dive into, I had some Facebook friends literally invite me to a group about From, and they said, get in here and help us figure this out. And I'm like, I don't know what y'all want from me, because I don't I'm just as lost as you are. These are the first times, even though I'm in that group, I don't really pay attention to that much. This is my first time hearing a lot of the theories, like astral projection. Like, y'all over here blowing my mind. I ain't thinking none of that. I'm thinking these people are just stupid and they're messing up what should have been an amazing show. But I hope that your theories are correct, because I'm starting to get impatient and they're losing me.
Where can people find you next? What do you got going on?
Guys, I tend to stream Sunday through Thursday, a new show at 10, and I'm gonna start doing the gaming stuff at night on Kick and Twitch. You can just find me at Atreus, Atraes. On Twitter, you can find me at GriffGod, because the grifting don't stop. And I mean, that's it, really.
All right. Nick, how about you?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter or X, whatever your preference is, at Plot Strikes Back. You can find me on YouTube with the Plot Strikes Back. I'm going to be trying to pump out some good content here upcoming. Going to be covering Yellowstone, the finale part 2 here the coming weeks.
Nice.
And going to be covering Silo Season 2, Dune Prophecy, and the series finale part 2 of Cobra Kai, because I'm just a diehard Karate Kid fan since I was a little kid. But yeah, and then obviously on some other streams with some cool peeps. I'll be on Leon's afternoon show on Monday at 3 p.m. Eastern, so that should be fun.
And what final thoughts on the episode?
Better than last week. I'll stand behind the theory of the astral projection with some people that are special than have this sort of gift, or have the opportunity, maybe I won't say gift, to have some sort of effect on other people's lives and the town. But I agree with Atreus. I want to see more. I want to see them have a good ending to this season, and I hope they don't need to spell it out for us, right? We're all smart and intelligent enough to kind of think for ourselves and see what they're trying to do. So I hope these things aren't too on the nose in the last 2 episodes, but I hope they definitely pick up the pace, and I hope they really start to connect some more things and give us some like exciting moments with, and maybe a big reveal or two.
Very nice. Zax, my friend, what you got going on next, and what's your final thoughts?
It was better than the last episode. I would say it's probably in maybe the top half of the season episode wise for me, but still it's really got these last 2 have to bring some stuff home, and the titles sort of hint to that, but we will see, because like I don't want to be negative on the show. I do still enjoy it, but it's just after season 2 they really had to do a lot of heavy lifting this season to really win me fully back, and I think they're just not quite there yet, but I'm still going to watch it. I still enjoy it. We'll see how it goes. But I think that I get excited about our theory talks here, and then it's like you get to the show and none of it happens. Like no one cares about the mystery of the rope. Like that was not a thing that we were getting into at all, period. Like, yes, it's a mystery, but it's not really anyone needs to know the answer to that question. That's fine. Leave that one. But I will be tomorrow night, 10 o'clock Central. We are going to be doing the second ever Clam Jam on my channel. So don't miss that with Lady Nadia. She's going to be there. Moxie Dame's going to be there. Vex is going to be there. Jana Banana is going to be there. And that darn kitty is joining us this week. So all ladies and then me out of the way most of the time and having a great time. Last time it was almost like R-rated. So don't miss this one.
Nice.
I'll be there in the chat.
Yeah. And something, Nick. What are you guys doing?
Yes.
Oh,
no,
yes.
everybody's links will be in the description below. Please, again, like I said earlier, sub to everybody. Everybody's fantastic content creators. Julie, what do you got going on next, and your final thoughts?
So final thoughts. I was really happy with this episode. I was excited. I mean, not that I need to be right or anything. Like it's not about being right, but I got details and scenes that really validated my theories, and so I enjoyed that. I enjoyed, the reveal from Victor, that even though I was irritated by the bait and switch with Jasper, Jasper was a nothing burger, but I still enjoyed that. I think that I think we are finally like starting to get like answers as far as where did this all start, which is the most important thing. How did this start? What was the origin of the whole place? And it goes back to child sacrifice, and it's something that was strongly hinted at, but we needed some kind of confirmation. I thought this was good confirmation of that, and I'm optimistic. I think I've heard good things. I haven't heard any spoilers, but I've heard secondhand that reviewers of the last 2 episodes have said they're fantastic, that the ending is fantastic. So I think they're going to stick the landing, and I'm excited to see what's coming next. And after the season is over, I'm going to continue doing my lives, the next 2 weeks, Wednesday and Thursdays at 10:30 Eastern. Probably not for 11 hours again, because that was insane. But I'm still going to do those, and then when the season's over, I'll do a weekly from live, because I still do them. I want to still do them in the off season like a few other streamers do. I'm one of the diehards like that, and I'll do theory videos. I'm sure we'll have major cliffhangers to still talk about. So, and I'm going to be covering Silo now, somehow trying to juggle that. I won't be doing it to the extent that I do From. I'll just do an episode breakdown every week, but
No 11-hour streams?
Yep.
no 11-hour streams for Silo. Yeah. So, and I'm on Twitter at Julie B Deep Dives also. So thank you for having me on, Nadia. Again,
You're always welcome. You're always welcome, Julie. I enjoy having you. I mean, I enjoy having all of you on, but especially you, Julie. I enjoy having you on. So,
well, thank you.
You too, Nick. Calm down there. All right. Lord of Toxic.
I'll miss you the most, Scarecrow. You're my favorite. Yeah. So theories on this. Look, guys, I've given everything that I got on this. I mean, I every theory that I hear that's even remotely okay on YouTube Reels or Twitter or TikTok sounds pretty good to me. I spout them here to bounce them off of people that are smarter than me, which is y'all. So some of them sound okay, some of them not so much. But as someone who was forced to watch Lost because my ex-girlfriend was into it, I'm getting heavy Lost vibes from this, and I'm starting to get scared that it's going to end that way. They have 2 more episodes to win me back. After this, if there's no answers or it's not enough answers, I'm done with the show. I don't care. So that's where I come out. I hate to be a quitter, but I'm not going to do this again with another show. So I still have Yellow Jackets I got to mystery box into. So hopefully that doesn't do the same thing. You can find me on my channel, Lord of Toxicity. We did a new Highlander episode this week. We did a Veterans Day stream where we talked about our favorite veteran movies. You can find me on the Northern English Bastards channel where we finished up talking about the Penguin, and we're going to start talking about the old TV series Miami Vice. This weekend, my novel Slapdash will be available on Amazon Kindle, and I will be doing some book reviews and things like that, up to and including Dennis Lehane's novel Gone Baby Gone versus the film version of it on my show Consider the Source. And if I can, I will try to pop on Enzo's Stupenzo's channel on Sunday, but if he keeps going pretty late, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to pull that off. But yeah, that's it.
Awesome. Well, thank you, everybody. Again, for myself, I'll be, like Zach says, tomorrow on Clam Jams, and then Sunday I'll be on Late Night with the Gooch. We will continue with From. Once From is done, I will actually be doing an X-Files first watch through. So hopefully I'll put a panel together that to discuss. We'll talk about groups of episodes, not episode, because we did episode by episode. We'd probably be there forever. And probably going to be covering Stranger Things in the beginning of the year, too, as well, to lead into the new season. Since it's horror-related, might as well do it. But I want to thank everybody in the chat. Thank you guys so much for your comments, your theories. I love having you guys there. I love this panel. And until next time, everybody, stay spooky, y'all.
Bye.